My name's Hugh Sullivan, and I'm at South by Southwest for the world premiere of my film, The Infinite Man. Just look, the producers of the film, Kate Crozer and Sandy Cameron, actually came to South by Southwest a couple of years ago, just as we started to develop The Infinite Man, and I think they identified right then that it would be the perfect film for our perfect festival for our film. I don't know. There's a sort of a spirit to the festival that our films seem to be in line with a kind of I don't know. It's just the things that the festival seems to value. I'd like to think that our film somehow possesses. So the film, it was made as part of the South Australian Film Corporation's Film Lab initiative. So they fully finance a number of quite low budget films. So it was funded off a one-page idea, which is incredible, and will never happen again, I'm sure. But we knew what budget we were working to, which was very helpful, I suppose. It was also difficult in the sense that budget was quite low, so we had to be inventive and very careful with the sort of story that we selected to tell on that budget. So it took a while to write. I tried to contain it as much as possible to a single location, 3 characters. So they were the limitations, I guess. It was sometimes difficult to work creatively within those boundaries that we'd set ourselves. But it also resulted in some I think like unexpected problem solving, which probably makes it a better film. So in that sense, it worked in the film's favour.
So where was the location? How did you find that out?
It was at Woomera in central South Australia, and we knew we wanted a very isolated location, and we pretty much searched the whole of South Australia looking for some kind of caravan park or motel that would sort of fitted into the world that we were looking to create. And as soon as we saw Woomera, it's just clearly the ideal location. It's just quite striking visually, and just with the that sort of infinite expanse in the background, it just seemed to almost thematically a good fit for the film. So it was 2 years in development. So just as I mentioned, just the location and the characters were one kind of difficulty, I guess. The other was obviously the time travel and getting the kind of mechanics of that plot right. And the moment you change one thing, wherever it may be in the story, kind of everything changes. So it was just constant and significant rewriting, which was frustrating, but again resulted in a better film ultimately. So look, it was a pretty traditional casting process. I didn't write with anyone in mind, I just hoped that we would find the right people to kind of bring these characters to life. But the moment we saw like all 3 of those people, it was just instantly clear that they were those characters. So they all 3 of them bring certain qualities to the role that are sort of inherent to the characters. No, it's not. It's not especially autobiographical. There must be. I'm sure. I would share qualities with all of the characters, I suppose, not just Dean. So, there's a little bit of me in all of them, but there's nothing specific. I'm sure it sort of feeds on certain insecurities or whatever that I may have in much smaller portions than those possessed by Dean. So yeah.
And a film I think it's going to get compared to a little bit is Primer. Thoughts?
Look, I mean, they share a low budget. I think Primer was a lot lower budget though. But beyond that, it was an inspiration what they managed to achieve on that low budget. He's an amazing filmmaker, but it's quite a different film otherwise. It may share a somewhat lo-fi aesthetic, which is something that we absolutely embraced, and I think it gives a kind of fresh look to the time travel genre, which is something that I loved about Primer. It still looked fantastic, but there was a certain lo-fi approach to things which I appreciated, and I guess sought to achieve with this film as well. There's also Primer's also a very complicated plot. Maybe we share that in common too. Yeah.
That there's like, it's a little more complicated.
Yes, yeah. That's I could pretend to understand it, but it feels like you know what's going on, though. But it's a great film. It's thoroughly enjoyable. It's but it's demanding. It's very demanding.
Did you grow up with a love of the time travel genre? In any case, Back to the Future films like that?
Yeah. All of those films. It's such a fun thing to play with, I guess. It's great. Yeah, it's fun to watch. It's fun to write. It's difficult to write, but it's certainly rewarding. When you get to the end and it all kind of, if it holds together, there's something rewarding about that. What's next for the film? I don't know. We'll hope for a big Australian premiere and see what happens there, and then we'll see where it goes. It will be theatrically released in Australia, and then as far as for me, I'm writing the next project at the moment with Sandy Cameron, who's a producer on The Infinite Man. So yeah, we're working on something together, and we'll see how that goes. Yeah.